It's time to rank another master. These are my favorite Steven Spielberg movies. Hi, thank you for tuning into the Tom Patelson Show. Yep, gonna rank all my favorite Steven Spielberg movies. Now, he's had a bunch of movies, like in the graphic I posted. There are 30 movies in that graphic, so I'm not going to rank 30 movies, and I was going to go my top 10, and it turned out to be my top 12. My top 12 favorite Steven Spielberg movies, and the reason is because some of them really needed to be on the list. Now, this is my list. This is not what I think is the best film ever made, or the best message, or how it, yeah, it's none of that. It's what I want to watch. It's what I'm watching, what moved me the most, all of the above. It's not going to be the same as your list. And by all means, show me your list. I love seeing people's list of what you put at number 1 and number 3 and number 5 and whatever. I love all of that. So these are my top 12 favorite Steven Spielberg movies. Number 12 is Saving Private Ryan. I saw this movie in the theater, and I've seen this movie once. One time. I left the movie feeling sick to my stomach, feeling ill, feeling sad, feeling remorse, feeling hatred for war, and I thought, this is the feeling you need for a war movie. That's the reason I've only seen it once. That's how powerful I think this movie is, and I think everyone should see it and realize how war is absolutely horrific and terrible. It shouldn't be heroic and fun. We shouldn't be in a yeehaw. It shouldn't. It should be awful, because war is awful. Saving Private Ryan, number 12. Number 11. Long as we're staying on the movies about awful stuff, Schindler's List is number 11. I've seen this movie more than once. This movie wrecks me every time I've ever seen it. Yes, the little girl in the red dress. This is the movie about the Holocaust and how Oskar Schindler tried to save as many people as he could by giving them jobs and fooling the Nazis and saving people. It's a work of art. It is a masterpiece. It is brilliant on every level. But I don't know if you know this about me. I'm an escapist. I watch movies to get away from the horrors of real life. That is who I am. People go to see movies for different reasons, and I'm an escapist. I think I've always been that. I have to put Schindler's List on my list because it's amazing and wonderful, and everyone should see it. It's a no-brainer. Schindler's List, number 11. Number 10 is Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And when I first saw this, I saw it on HBO in the early 80s when they were finally releasing movies and whatnot, and I saw Close Encounters because I was too young to see it in the theater at the time. And I thought, wow, this movie's boring. I thought it's boring. And as a kid, yeah, if you say, what's this movie about? It's about aliens. Well, where are they? They don't show up to the end. Oh, what the heck? Why aren't they showing up now? Why can't we have aliens in every scene? And as a kid, you don't understand obsession. And Richard Dreyfuss's character is obsessed with something. He doesn't know why he's thinking it, doesn't know why he's being drawn to this, and being drawn finally to the mountain at the end for the alien landing. It is beautiful to watch. It is intense. I watched it again during the pandemic, where I watched a lot of movies. But Close Encounters of the Third Kind, I love at the end where we use music to communicate to the aliens. We're using music and lights and sound, which is why Arrival is a great movie, because we don't know what aliens might look like, talk like, think like. We assume they'd look like us and speak English, because that's who we are. We're a little egotistical about that, but I love Close Encounters of the Third Kind now as an adult. Number 10. Number 9 is a movie that grew on me, and it took me a couple of times to see it before I finally realized why I love it so much. It is Catch Me If You Can, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks. About a con artist running for his life from the man trying to catch him, and it is a really wonderful story, and it might be the first time where I really recognized Leonardo DiCaprio as being a brilliant actor. Up until then, I thought he's fine, whatever. I don't see what the big thing is on that one. I fell for it, and I love movies set in the 1960s. I love how everything looks. I love that era of film, as far as the cars and the outfits and the dialogue. It's a great movie. It's a fun watch. Catch Me If You Can is number 9. Moving right along to number 8 is another grew on me movie. Saw it in the theaters, liked it in the theaters, thought it was okay, but then more and more that I see it, I really do love Hook, the Peter Pan continuation story starring Robin Williams and Dustin Hoffman as the aforementioned Captain Hook. When I first heard Robin Williams was going to be Peter Pan, I thought, a little old for that, isn't he? That doesn't quite fit. And the whole movie is jumping back and forth between reality and Never Never Land. It's got a wonderful message. And I love when he learns his happy place and learns to fly, thinking about his kids and then going to save his kids. It's what you want in a Peter Pan movie. You've got heroism and you've got flying and you've got all, yeah. Oh, it's so good. Hook is so good. Number 8, Hook. Number 7. All right, we're getting back into the serious thing now because my 7 is Munich. Munich is based on the book Vengeance by Greg Jones, talking about the Mossad assassinations following the 1972 Munich massacre, where 11 members of the Israeli Olympic team were murdered. And this is Israel's response to that. And it's just heartbreaking. It's got Eric Bana and Daniel Craig and Jeffrey Rush. And it is a movie that shows vengeance. The horrors of vengeance and how violence and vengeance and war just destroys humanity. It just destroys human beings. And you watch Eric Bana's character go through that, go through this horror of that. And it's intriguing, it's exciting, it's heart-wrenching, but I do love Munich. Munich is number 7. Number 6. Let's stay in the Cold War era for Bridge of Spies. Again, Tom Hanks coming back to play James Donovan, who's a lawyer who defends Mark Rylance's character. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. Rudolph Abel, because I can't remember the name Rudolph Abel, who was a Russian spy. Now, at the same time that we have a Russian spy in captive, Francis Gary Powers, his U-2 spy plane is shot down over Russia, and they've got him. And this movie is about the exchange. We'll give you back our spy for your spy. It's wonderful. I love Cold War stuff. I love good wordy, good wordy movies, and this is a great one. Mark Rylance is one of my favorites. If you haven't seen The Trial of the Chicago 7, that's a great Mark Rylance movie as well, and a great blockbuster cast on that one. That's a fantastic. But Bridge of Spies is number 6. Number 5 is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Why? Sean Connery. Because Sean Connery's in it. Did you know Sean Connery was in that movie? Which movie? Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, starring Sean Connery with Sean Connery? Because Sean Connery's in it. He's great. And of course, Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones as they go searching for the Holy Grail. I love Indiana Jones movies. I love all of them. Even the Crystal Skulls one is, low on my list, but I love that too. I love the idea of mysterious archaeology, and I love the fact that he's got his relationship with his dad and the very opening credits beginning scene with River Phoenix as a young Indiana Jones. It's got so much everything, and I love the lore of it, and I love the mystery of how it is weaved together. It is a brilliant, fun movie. I love Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and that's number 5. And then there were 4. Number 4 is not a surprising pick for me, considering how much I love wordy dramas, and I love things set in the 1970s, and I love the Nixon White House and Watergate and the Pentagon Papers, which is why I love The Post, starring Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep as Ben Bradley and Katharine Graham, who work for the Washington Post, who leak the papers that the Pentagon had kept secret from the public. And it's talk about wordy, good, dramatic portrayals. Everything has a great speech in it. The dialogue is fantastic. It's got a brilliant cast. It's amazing. I love wordy investigative journalism style movies like All the President's Men, because I love All the President's Men is the reason I love The Post. Yeah, The Post is number 4. Number 3, Dr. Grant. My dear Dr. Sadler, welcome to Jurassic Park. I know there are others. I know there's Jurassic World and Jurassic World Part 7 and whatnot, and 3 Jurassic... The very first Jurassic Park. When this movie came out, about 2 months beforehand, a buddy of mine gave me the book by Michael Crichton and said, you got to read this. Spielberg's doing a movie, it's coming out soon, and we're going. And we did. Me and all of my friends went. Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton is my favorite book that I've ever read. And I read it faster than I've ever read any other book. I'm a slow reader, so for me to read a book in 3 days, any chance I got, any free time I got, I picked up that book. I could not put it down. It is one of those rare circumstances where I love the book and I love the movie, and they're not alike. They're not alike. They're really not. The book and the movie are totally different. And normally that's a deal breaker for a lot of people, saying, like, I can't believe they left this out of the book. I can't believe they left this out of the movie. I can't believe they didn't leave that. My favorite part's not in the movie and it's in the book. They're both awesome. I was fine with every decision made, including the endings. I love Jurassic Park, the movie. I remember seeing it in the theater and sitting, because before that we had stop animation on how we did things, dinosaurs and monsters, specifically the skeletons from Jason and the Argonauts. That's a great scene, by the way, if you haven't seen that in a while. So I got pretty good at recognizing when something was fake. And when the T-Rex shows up, I remember watching the theater going, how did they do that? How did they do that? I have no idea how they did that. And from that moment on, everything changed in the movie industry since Jurassic Park. Number 3, Jurassic Park. Oh, so good. 2 left. This is a tough one. But number 2 is Raiders of the Lost Ark. Raiders of the Lost Ark, with, again, Indiana Jones and Harrison Ford, and the search for the Ark of the Covenant, which is the thing that holds the 10 Commandments. And the same reason why I love Last Crusade. It is a fun adventure ride from beginning to end, full of history and lore and mystery and mysticism and all of this everything, and it's all just wrapped up with a pretty bow. Raiders of the Lost Ark. I can watch that anytime. It holds up now as it held up back in 1981. Oh my goodness. Raiders of the Lost Ark. And in case you're wondering, did it win Best Picture that year? No. Chariots of Fire won that year. Seen that in a while? Of course you haven't. Of course you haven't. Haven't seen Chariots of Fire. Unbelievable. So many times does the motion. They just get it wrong. The Academy gets it wrong over and over and over again. Raiders of the Lost Ark we watched still. Chariots of Fire, please. Raiders of the Lost Ark is number 2. That means number 1 is Jaws. If you've seen me, met me, talked with me, watched my show, watched my channel, seen me live on TikTok, Jaws. I talk about Jaws a lot. I'm not a horror fan. I'm not a horrorphile. If it's a scary horror movie, I probably won't go see it. But what I am is an incredibly big monster movie fan, and there is no greater monster movie than Jaws. You can't see it, you know it's there, it shows up, it surprises you, it's scary, it's terrifying. And I know about the story about Bruce the Shark and how it wasn't completed and finished, and so that's why the movie is what it is, and I don't care. It is brilliant and amazing. Jaws holds up to this day. My lady had not seen it, and so last summer we saw it at the theater when they had a re-release, and I saw it sitting in the IMAX theater with a bunch of people who had not seen Jaws before. It still holds up. You laugh when you laugh, you jump when you jump, you are terrified. Even though the shark looks pretty fake at the end, everybody bought it, and everybody does, because it's Jaws. Oh, the 1975 classic Jaws with Roy Scheider and Robert Shaw. I love Robert Shaw in The Sting. I love Robert Shaw in Jaws. Robert Shaw gives 2 great monologues in Jaws when he's talking about he'll catch this fish and the USS Indianapolis. My goodness. those are amazing speeches by a brilliant and amazing actor. And of course, Richard Dreyfuss in one of his first roles of just being awesome. Yes, Roy Scheider, Richard Dreyfuss, and Robert Shaw on the Orca. Jaws. If you haven't seen Jaws, please see it. Skip all the rest if you need to, and please do skip all the rest, but oh my goodness. And the score, of course, with John Williams. Jaws. Such an amazing movie, and it is #1. So let's review. These are my movies there from 12 to 1. I hope you enjoyed this. Show me what your top 10 lists are. Show me what's #1. Show me what's last. I love seeing what's last. Like, I like this one the last. I'm not going to rank all of Steven Spielberg's, but you know, show me what's last and show me what's first. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to see it. And let me know what you'd like me to rank next. I'll be putting up some polls to decide what we're going to rank, what we're going to talk about, and movies in general, pop culture, board games, philosophy, you name it on this show, and we'll do it. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to the list. And until I see you next time, as always, peace, love, live long and prosper. And I mean it.